was trying to make.
Senator, I don't think anybody would object to that, but that isn't quite what you said on Friday. I want to replay the clip of what you said on Friday, which is different. Here it is.
There are transcripts that provide very helpful, very critical insights into whether or not Russian intelligence and senior Russian political leaders, including Vladimir Putin, were cooperating, were colluding with the Trump campaign at the highest levels to influence the outcome of our election.
Senator, we're talking here about the President of the United States. Isn't there more than a whiff of McCarthyism for you as a U.S. Senator to say there are transcripts out there that provide insight into whether or not there was collusion, but you don't even know whether they exist?
So to the extent those comments that you just replayed might in some way be misinterpreted as leading to a sort of hyperventilating attitude here in the Senate about this, I apologize for that. That's not what I was trying to do. What I was trying to do, and I think is important, is to draw the American people to what joins us in common, which is the need for us to get to the bottom of this, to get access to what intelligence there is. I am confident that intelligence exists that is relevant to this question, not that says there is collusion and proof of it. That's not what I was trying to say. I want the Intelligence Committee.
If I may, I want to talk about the broader story here. Do you have any evidence at this point? And this investigation has been going on for a long period of time. We know that the FBI and intelligence sources were looking at this at least since October, because that's when they all came out and said that the Russians were interfering. Do you know of any hard evidence of collusion between what I call Trump world and the Russians to interfere in this presidential campaign? Not suspicions, not contacts, but evidence of collusion.
Chris, I have no hard evidence of collusion.
Do you worry that this continued talk about this when we're months into this and there is no evidence of collusion? There's no evidence that any crime or anything untoward was committed. Do you worry that this continues to put this president under a cloud, continues to derail his agenda? Or frankly, sir, is that precisely the point?
Well, to be clear, Chris, I'm not the person who forced or coerced in any way Senator Sessions to answer incorrectly or falsely in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Well, we're going to get to Sessions. I promise we'll get to Sessions in a moment.
But to misrepresent to the Vice President.
But is the point here to keep this White House from being able to do what it's trying to do by continuing, at this point, evidence-free debate about collusion with the Russians?
That's not my goal, Chris. I recently met with the new Commerce Secretary just on Thursday to sit down with him and say, I'm on the relevant subcommittee that appropriates the Commerce Department's funding. I'd like to work with you on manufacturing policy. I think we can do things to get back to focusing on growing our economy and growing manufacturing jobs. Chris, you know me, and I think you'd recognize that I'm someone who is willing to work across the aisle. My goal here is to make sure that we defend our democracy. It's outrageous to suggest that we shouldn't investigate thoroughly and fully what are credible allegations of Russian interference in our election.
I don't think anybody's suggesting that we shouldn't investigate it. The question is, when there's talk about collusion without any evidence, is that helpful, or is that simply blocking the government and Donald Trump from being able to do what he was elected by millions of Americans to do? I want to